July can be hot and dry, even here in the mountains, so a lot of your gardening activities may actually revolve around making sure your plants stay adequately watered. For example, if you are growing a vegetable garden this year, a vegetable garden to be productive needs about 1 inch of water every week. Now, if you're putting that water out using sprinklers, you want to measure to make sure you're getting enough water out there. And you can do that simply by either purchasing a rain gauge, or you can even just use any kind of a tin can or something to collect that water until it gets to be 1 inch deep. Of course, there are other methods of watering. Soaker hoses, for example, work great, especially in areas like vegetable gardens. You can even run a soaker hose off of that rain barrel if you have just a little bit of elevation of your rain barrel above the garden area. If you have newly planted trees and shrubs, remember to check those at least once a week. You're probably going to need to put out anywhere from 2 to 5 gallons of water per shrub, depending on the size of the plant and, of course, how hot and dry it gets. If you have not put mulch out and you're planning to put some mulch on some landscape areas this time of year, you need to make sure that there's plenty of moisture in the soil before you put that mulch on. One place you can probably save some water is on the lawn. In most cases, we really do not need to be watering our fescue lawns. They can simply be allowed to go dormant. In the flower garden, you can keep that flower garden looking good all summer if you continue to deadhead. Now, deadhead simply means removing those spent flower blossoms. With the annual flowers like your cosmos and zinnias, snipping off a lot of those dead blooms will help those plants to continue to bloom all summer long, and of course it keeps them looking nicer and neater, not having those dead flowers on there. Similarly, a lot of your perennial flowers, if you'll go in and snip off the dead flowers, they will either continue to flower, or some of them, like the coreopsis, will give you a second flush of bloom later in the summer. If you have the re-blooming type of daylilies, if you keep these stems cut out of here, this will actually help these flowers to continue to re-bloom on during the summer as well. Also, July is the typical time to divide daylilies. Just dig up a large clump and use either your shovel or a big sharp knife like this to divide this clump up into several nice big sections that you can go ahead and replant, either to multiply your daylilies, or if they've gotten too old and too crowded and you need to divide them out and share them with friends or plant them somewhere else. There's really not much you need to be doing in the shrubbery bed. You probably should not be doing any fertilizing now once we're into the hot part of the summer, and really even pruning should be restricted to just a little bit of light pruning on the stray branches. If your lawn has continued to grow this time of year, do make sure you're keeping that mowing height up at least 3 inches. Drought-stressed lawns especially, you do not want to be mowing them too short. If you are growing a vegetable garden this summer, by the time we get into the middle of summer, usually one of the main chores is keeping up with that weed control. No matter whether you're hand pulling weeds or whether you're using a hoe, you don't want to let the weeds get up crowding around your plants. If you're growing tomatoes, you're going to want to keep up with your disease control. This is one of the only instances where we do recommend continuing your regular fungicide sprays, such as the fungicide like Daconil, or using an organic material like the Serenade to prevent the blights from getting started on those tomato plants. Also, while you're in the vegetable garden, just pay a lot of attention to checking those plants to keep an eye out for insects. A lot of times with the insects in the vegetable gardens, you can simply remove those little bugs by hand, or you may need to resort to doing a little bit of organic pesticide spray. Now, of course, you want to keep up with your harvesting in the vegetable garden also. There's some vegetables, like your tomatoes and your peppers, that you want to leave those on the plant as long as you can so they get thoroughly ripe. On the other hand, many of your vegetables, like your squash and cucumbers and green beans, you want to keep up with picking those regularly while they're still young and tender. And even though it's the middle of summer, you can still do some planting in the vegetable garden. Some of those warm season vegetables you can still plant during at least the first half of the month of July. For example, your cucumbers, your summer squash, green beans, even those winter squash still have time to grow and produce a crop for you before the fall cold weather arrives. If you'd like information on vegetable gardening or any other gardening information, feel free to contact us at the Buncombe County Cooperative Extension Office.